Nintendo just had an insane direct. All Fire Emblem Fortunes Weave. We got tons of new information. Yeah, we just did a hype Fire Emblem Fortunes Weave video, but that's not going to stop us from doing another one. We're going to talk about Fire Emblem Fortunes Weave, and we're also going to watch the whole direct and kind of react to it. We've all seen it, but why not watch it again? But first, how's it going, Brandon?
Yo, this is fun. I like not hosting. I'm doing good over here, Slam. Nice job, buddy. Let's see what's going on these days. I've been continuing to play Digimon, and I decided that we could talk about this a little bit. We weren't messing around when we said we were not happy with Sony's decisions, so I got myself a PC, a full-on PC sitting right over there. Shout outs to Slam Zany, if anybody has never heard of him before. He's a good looking dude. He's got a really great voice. Yeah, he's a fantastic content creator. So love that guy. He helped me build this PC. I went to Micro Center and got that sucker built and brought it home today. And check this out. I'm super excited about this. If you guys haven't heard of Epilogue, Epilogue does these like I don't even know what you would call them. They're devices, they're operators, I guess, that help you or can allow you to run your classic Super Nintendo or Game Boy Advance games. So I'm going to do everything I possibly can to run this PC as a physical, like a physical machine. Get a disk drive, try to find some ways to see if it's possible to run my actual PlayStation discs. If not, I can figure out how to do, I could do emulation. I have a bunch of my files already, but I can get emulation set up on there. I'm just preparing for the future of Sony making stupid decisions, because from some of the reports today, it sounds like, or not today, this week, it really does sound like physical and digital almost doesn't even matter anymore, because they're going to be chasing the live service and microtransactions trend, which is what's making them the most money. So Sony seems to be completely pivoting away from the audience that built the company to begin with. And whether or not anybody watching this has any issues with the physical digital conversation, that company just doesn't have much value or interest for me anymore. So we're going to go PC, got some games on GOG. I can make my own physicals if I want to, and I'm going to just make this work. I'm going to lock in. So excited about that. Excited to get that set up. I haven't had a PC since I was a kid, outside of like a laptop. So I'm pretty excited with how beefy this thing is, and we're going to get our setup going. So that's pretty much it for me over here.
I'm excited for you, Brandon. I really am. If you have any questions, let me know.
I will. Most definitely.
Mags, how you doing?
Yeah, I'm doing good. I'm still making my way through Digimon as well, having a lot of fun. The story's really hitting. There's a lot of big emotional moments as you go through, and I feel like I'm getting close to the end. And there's a lot of time travel shenanigans happening as well, as it is in the title. So it's been a lot of fun. It's reminded me of how much I love the Digimon franchise, and it's been so much fun. And we got news today, at the time of recording at least, that the Digimon franchise as a whole is doing better than it has ever before. I think it's thanks to this game and to some other recent projects that Bandai has kind of put together. But it's been really cool to see it have this renewed success. And I just hope that means that we'll get more games, we'll get more media from the Digimon franchise, and just that it continues to succeed. So that's been really positive. Yeah, I love that. It was something that I watched as a kid all the time, like Saturday morning anime, and so it's been fun to see how they've been able to take that and put it into games, and also just to see it expand over the years. So hopefully there's more to come. And I also wanted to showcase the latest thing in my merch collection, which is this new Tifa figure. I don't hate Final Fantasy. I know that might be news to some people, but I actually like it quite a lot. You don't hate
Tifa. We can say that.
I don't hate Tifa. No, she's the best.
Yeah.
She's the best. She's the best. But I also don't hate Final Fantasy, and now there's proof on my shelf that I don't. So
that's fair.
There's proof on your shelf that you don't hate Tifa.
and Final Fantasy.
Brandon, take it easy. All right.
Well, I like when
yes.
Slam hosts. He tells Brandon to take it easy.
Yeah, just
Yeah.
chill out.
You tell him what to do,
And
Slam.
speaking
You're the
of me
host. You have
hosting,
the power.
you guys are probably wondering why Slam is hosting at all, right? Why? Because I'm not really a tactics guy, so why would I host the episode all about the tactics game, right? But I actually really love Fire Emblem, and I really do love tactics, guys. Like, tactics games are great, okay? So that's why I'm here. That's why I'm hosting. And I'm excited to watch this without like a ton of interruptions, because I feel like when I watched it the first time, I had to pause a lot. So,
well, I
it's gonna be
mean,
nice to get
we're
in.
going to be the interruptions. So,
yeah, but we're going to be talking about the things we're seeing, right? I'm not going to be like
we're going to be good
distracted
at
for 10 minutes.
interruptions. Yeah.
Yes, that's
Yeah.
the goal.
We promise. Stay tuned.
Mhm.
All right, we're not going to be like getting up and leaving. We're going to talk.
No, who
about,
does that?
You know, I don't know. That's what
Wait,
I
but
had to do the last time I watched it.
Before we get into this stuff, Slam, how are you doing?
Yeah, and what have
Oh,
you been
yeah.
playing?
Good point. So I've been playing basically two things primarily. Beast of Reincarnation. Now that is one of those games that has had a lot of mixed reviews. Okay. I really love like Souls-like games, the Souls game. I like these like heavy gameplay, action-oriented video games like Stellar Blade, Nier. I like all the Souls games, Lies of P, like Code Vein, that kind of stuff, right? I get really into those games. So I knew that when I saw quite a bit of Beast of Reincarnation, I knew it would kind of be up my alley, at least from a gameplay standpoint. And it is hitting. It really is. I think that Game Freak has consistently surprised me at how well they've executed the gameplay loop and the combat system here. It feels really good to play. It's punchy. It's responsive. There's a lot of like the boss fights are really well done. Graphically, it looks very good. Performs well. I've been playing it on PC. And I do have there's like definitely some lows. Like there's some minor gripes I have. I like the story, the world building, and the overall aesthetic of the game. But the voice acting, at least the English voice acting, leaves a lot to be desired. It's not the greatest. It's like very monotone, kind of robotic. There's not a lot of great like back and forth reactions. I did switch the voice acting to Japanese, and it's quite a bit better. But yeah, it's just not, the acting itself is not hitting as hard as like the story itself deserves, in my opinion. I think there's a lot of like really cool elements to the story. And Ku, the dog, he's awesome. Oh my goodness. He's amazing.
Love that.
But
Yes.
I'm having a ton of fun with Beast of Reincarnation. I would highly recommend it to anyone that is into those types of video games, right? If you're not, and you're just like, I want to play this game because the people from Pokemon made it, don't do that, because it's nothing like Pokemon.
Yeah.
Hey, and you know what? The voice acting in this game is way better than the last Game Freak game. So
yeah, that had none.
If you know, you know.
If you just say like, see like Fire Emblem Fortune's Weave under that. And then I've also been playing a ton of Xenoblade Chronicles 2. I've been going through the Xenoblade games in order now that they're releasing on the Nintendo Switch 2. Finished Xenoblade Chronicles 1. Been playing. I'm probably about 9 hours, maybe 10 hours into Xenoblade Chronicles 2, and oh man, I love it so much. I forgot how much I love this game. It's been a very long time since I played it. I've never replayed it. So this is my first replay of Xenoblade Chronicles 2. And the combat is so good. It's such a huge upgrade from Xenoblade 1 after spending like so much time, so many hours in Xenoblade 1. And don't get me wrong, the combat there is good. It just does feel far more outdated than Xenoblade 2. And I just like the whole setup, you know, like all the different layers to the combat. And it's very, very strategic. I know that the combat's kind of a turnoff for a lot of people in Xenoblade 2 because there are so many layers to it that it seems so convoluted. But I actually really enjoy that aspect of it. Run's great. It's better than I ever remembered it, for sure. So having a ton of fun with Xenoblade 2. And I might even say that I like Xenoblade 2 better than Xenoblade 1.
No.
We've never heard that before. This is shocking.
Have I ever said that before?
Yeah, dude, every single time we have the conversation about Xenoblade.
I don't think so. I don't think I've ever said that.
Literally in the pre-show.
Yeah.
I don't think I've ever said that.
Let the
It's the
record
first time.
show.
It's in the pre-show
I'm the
with
host,
like every
so
other
I
episode
don't,
where we talk
everything
about
I say is
Xenoblade.
the truth, and I've
He's
never said
going
that
mad
before.
with power.
Host
said that
power,
before.
huh? Wait. Hold on. Let's take it back. The host, whatever the host says is always true. Is that correct?
Yeah,
Noted.
Oh boy.
today.
No, that's not what you said. That's a qualifier we didn't add, and I'm going to note that for all of the other episodes. Let the record show.
Well, now Brandon can never host again.
He altered the records
Mm,
just now with his tin can.
That's right.
Not the tin can.
My beautiful tin can.
You never sent me the link to order one of those, by the way. Do they come in different colors? Or is
I
it
couldn't
all
find
just
it.
All
silver?
I got
All
it at a
can.
All
Kroger.
just like it looks like the guy, the Tin Man from Wizard of Oz. Dude.
That's like his like shin,
just-
didn't you know?
Yeah, he pulled it right off of the Wizard.
He was
of Oz.
like, "Here you go."
It's like this. It came from the set.
I
of the
did
movie.
find it. There's a nice purple one here for you, Slim.
Ooh,
I don't
purple.
like. I'm not a huge fan of purple. Do they have blue, green,
Let me look. Oh no,
Orange,
come on. Load.
red?
Wait.
Every color but purple.
I don't know. I just. I mean, I guess a dark purple is not too bad.
No,
You
it's
don't like light
definitely a
purple?
light. Yeah, it's like a light one.
You don't like lilac, lavender.
No, lavender is actually not. That's not bad. It's like a pastel kind of
Mhm.
purple. It's pretty cool.
Pastel purple.
Yeah, I like that one.
Anyway, this is one of many shopping segments that we've had on Level Up Legacy where we, just see
Buy
someone's
stuff.
money disappear before your very eyes.
And
It's usually
things,
mine.
It's usually
Things are
Brandon's money.
getting off track. Let's watch the Fire Emblem Fortunes Weave Direct. If
Let's do it.
I am the one controlling video, so I am relying on you, Brandon, and you, Mags, to tell me when to pause.
Okay.
When you'd like to discuss things further. All right.
Okay.
Got it?
Done.
Yep.
Okay. You'll say, hey, wait.
We're like,
We'll go,
pause.
stop.
Yeah.
Something like that.
Great.
Yeah. Do that. Okay.
What is that thing that you do?
Skirt. It's funny that I knew exactly what she was talking about.
I knew you
too.
knew. I knew what you, yeah. I was like, he'll know. That's all I have to say.
All right.
Okay, let's do it.
Y'all ready for this? I had to do like a Brandon thing there.
I was born ready.
That's what I do usually.
Come, celebrate the second birth of this world's rightful ruler. At the advent of
Sorry,
So-
style looks so good.
Right here, you could pause it real quick, Slam.
You got
Some
it.
people online were making some connections with some of the bloodlines and saying that woman holding the baby is connected to Flame and Seteth and that whole family.
Mhm.
I have no idea how this could possibly be true, but some people were saying that somehow it has to be Flame. I don't think that's the case, but
No.
it was very interesting that if that's the case, we have a situation here where, in Three Houses, we have Sothis and we have, if you get into the extended lore, the other dragons. And this would be an instance where there is someone of the dragon family going against Sothis, the progenitor god. Which is very interesting by re-resurrecting the Demon King or whatever it's going to be called. But the connection to Sothis and Seteth is going to be interesting because we may or may not see Seteth in this very trailer. So continue.
All I'm saying is dude needed to do his eyebrows. if he was going for a legit disguise, but we'll get there.
So freaking cool.
How cool.
Okay, pause.
You got it.
I think the statues of the four lords are interesting. I don't have to go into it a ton, but it makes me wonder if the end game with them is not them like destroying each other, but maybe possibly teaming up before whatever happens right before the time skip that we'll eventually learn about. Because like, why would they have statues of all of them if they take each other out? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. That was a question that came to mind with how this goes. It does sound like, though, from some of the extended information that we got online, that you are potentially starting as Eshmel in the beginning. And
I think
the
we
split
are.
paths are like him or her choosing the paths and then going back. So, yeah, it's possible that, I guess we'll find out. But it makes sense if you can eventually recruit all four of them, which they'll talk about in the trailer. They can't take each other out. So,
right. It makes me think that perhaps like the end game for at least those four is not necessarily like, you know, an all-out fight where only one is left. Like it just sounds like this is going to be a bit more nuanced or more collaborative at some point. So I just think that's interesting.
Yeah. I mean, there is a possibility that I don't think this is what's going to happen, but this is a possibility. It is possible that this is going to be doing what Three Houses didn't do. So maybe they do take each other out in each of their paths, but Eshmel coming in is going to be changing the outcome of however those things go. So it's possible that the whole game is essentially about whether or not Eshmel is going to create the golden ending, right? Like we talked about that with Three Houses, how I would have loved a golden ending where Byleth goes back and it's like, whoa, let's stop being idiots, everybody. Here's the real villain, right? It's possible that that's exactly what Eshmel is going to do. And the entire setup of the game is him or her. I'm going to make him a him, so I'm going to refer to him as a him. But him going back and making those kinds of changes and like tweaking the outcome. I don't think that's exactly how it's going to go down. My guess is it would just be easier from a storytelling perspective to make it so that they all win in some way and they're not, I don't know, they're not actually taking each other out, but I don't know. It could be interesting. There's a lot of stuff that can happen with storytelling that does this kind of timeline stuff. So we'll see.
Yep.
I love the music.
The Dagdan Empire, a land at the peak of prosperity under the rule of the gods. In the capital city of Daxian, bustling markets, ports teeming with trading ships, temples to the gods, and other establishments line the crowded streets. This is also where the heroic games are held in tribute to Dagda, the Empire's first and founding king.
The heroic games.
Okay, so pause here.
It's said that
Solel here, I'm going to assume that he is another dragon. Like the Divine Sovereign.
Yeah.
He's connected somehow to the other dragons.
It also seemed like Dagda, the statue that was shown, is also a part of that family.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't be surprised if Solel was like just further down that family line.
Yeah.
One would say.
Yeah.
But definitely, they definitely have like a presence here. So
it's interesting to me because like the history of like Garreg Mach and everything in Three Houses seem to indicate that the dragons were really only a thing there, like in that region. So seeing all of this outside of that, in again, like we still don't know how exactly they're going to position this from a historical standpoint.
I think it's also important to remember, though, that like what we learned about the history in Three Houses was not always accurate based on actual events. It was based on who was telling you what happened. And
Right,
so
that's fair.
it wouldn't surprise me if some of the folks in Three Houses that were telling the lore altered it to make it, more focused on Fodlan, for example.
Yeah.
Because they were wanting to centralize everything there around the church. Because that's happened in actual history too. So, you kind of have to wonder, was I being told the complete story or just part of it because it served a purpose?
Yeah, and I mean, this is a sequel, so I guess that could be the purpose of this game, to kind of like expand that out and give you a different view, which is part of what made Three Houses awesome. So I'm excited. Anyway, let's go.
Will grant one wish to whoever wins the game.
Just a random chariot being thrown somewhere.
Yeah.
Determination and undying conviction.
It's crazy how big of an upgrade this is visually and presentation wise from Three Houses.
Oh,
It's so
look
pretty.
at them.
revolves around 4 heroes who have entered the heroic games. Who you choose will determine how the narrative unfolds as they fight for glory. Kai is a young boy living in the peaceful village of Ribera. On his 15th birthday, his father is imprisoned beneath Daxian for crimes committed. In hope of a peaceful life as a family, he sets out with his childhood friends to win the heroic games and save his father. Dietrich, ever in search
Dietrich
of a
is
stronger
sick.
opponent,
He's so
an
sick.
enormous monster while sailing a stormy sea.
I love
Be
how
sick.
he's about
He
to
might
just
be
get totally
sick.
destroyed. Yeah, and he's like, oh,
Land of
beautiful.
Dagda. This is where, between battling bandits and beasts, he learns of the heroic games.
That guy might be
To
sick.
slake his thirst for battle, Dietrich
He doesn't look
Yeah.
very good.
compete in the heroic games with new allies.
He
at
might
his
have a
side.
glass eye, I think.
Here, so pause it real
He just
quick,
looks so
Slam.
pale, like maybe he's seasick.
So I think
That's true.
the implication here is that he is coming from Fodlan.
He is.
yeah.
Yeah.
He's been confirmed to be from Fodlan, and so you can tell he looks different from a lot of the other characters we've seen, because in Fodlan it just seemed like, everyone was a bit paler.
It was like
Overall?
it's like Europe, basically.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because Three Houses was like Renaissance Europe, whereas
Yeah.
this is more ancient Greece, ancient Rome
Yeah.
feel. But yeah, so it'll be interesting from him. I think that his perspective is going to provide a lot of the connections to Three Houses and Fodlan
Yeah.
overall. So
Yeah.
it'll be interesting to see like what he says and what he does and how that fits into the larger story.
Ready?
My queen.
Hailing from the kingdom of Ceramus in the south, Theodora represents a culture that worships the keeper of death and night, a goddess loathed throughout the lands. Swearing to restore the honor of her goddess and defend the faith of the people and the peace of her kingdom, Theodora leads her veteran retainers into battle with the goal of winning the games.
Okay, pause just for a second. I just wanted to mention something about Theodora that wasn't in the direct but was revealed after. So she loses her arm before the events of the game.
Okay.
And you see like one of her arms bandaged up. That's actually an arm gifted to her by some deity. So
Okay.
Like the deity she's trying to fight for?
I would have to look it up and verify, but like basically her father was killed and in the same conflict she lost her arm.
Oh yeah, I read that.
Interesting.
And so she receives this like blessed, or I don't even know, just like arm gifted to her by this deity. And so that's why it's all bandaged up and it's like not, it doesn't look like a human hand. I just find that very interesting because it's kind of a part of her backstory we didn't know about until they revealed it, kind of with all of this other news. And so I just wonder how that will come into play for her, like in combat as well, because it might have some sort of special ability or affect her abilities in some way.
Yep.
So
Tin can.
A young woman born into prestige and blessed with musical talent, Lita is consumed by rage following her father's murder at the hands of an unknown assailant. Having given everything to seek revenge, she eventually learns of the killer's plan to participate in the heroic games.
Alive! I will kill him.
To bring an end to the man who murdered her father, Lita heads to Daxium with supportive companions in tow.
I love how Lita is just like completely unhinged.
Yeah.
she is so unhinged.
Sorry, Theodora. But I won't be letting you take the victory.
So
If victory is decided by conviction alone, then I think it shall not be.
this is what raises the question from you earlier, Max, right?
Oh, well, can we pause it? What were you saying?
This is what raises the question for you, right? Earlier, like it seems like they're fighting against each other. And in every other context, it seems like they're fighting to the death. So how can we have all of those statues with all of them like having been champions if they're going to be fighting each other?
Well, and if only one of them wins, why would the other three get a statue? That's like, I feel like they showed that for a reason. Like they all become significant at that point in time for whatever reason. But
Yeah.
and I also just wonder if depending on what you do changes what statue is there. Maybe.
I'm wondering if it could be an indicator of like the story leading to, because we know if Eshmel comes in to go back and save them, then we know there's going to be a conflict point. So I'm wondering if they're all like top contenders, but then the games get interrupted by some terrible thing and they combine forces and go take out said things and they're like celebrated for a short while, but it's not over. And that's when things go south or something like that, right? Where
That's what I
the
was
games-
actually
the
wondering
games
about,
themselves
yeah.
are interrupted. And so you don't have a scenario where they're taking each other out.
Yeah. Like,
Yeah.
my thought is like, or at least when I was watching it, this whole them going at each other and stuff is like the early stages of the game, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Like this is basically the academy phase.
Yeah.
If we're going to compare it to Three Houses, which I always thought ever since this game was announced, I'm like, I don't think the heroic games are going to take the whole story.
The
Like
whole
I love
story,
the
yeah.
concept and like I wouldn't be upset if it was, but I'm just like, this isn't my first time around the block. Like I just don't think they're going to like have this be the only thing. Like there's always something more going on. And so, yeah, I think that the games may not resolve how we think they do or how we think they're supposed to. Like they could be interrupted and then, you know, all hell breaks loose,
Yep.
essentially.
Yeah.
But I'm sorry. Failure is not an option for me either. But that's only because I don't have any choice!
This music is so cool.
Slaps,
Yup.
dude.
Going into each
Yeah.
match, you'll
I like the
choose
menu design too. This was something that like I'm a sucker for like a good UI, especially in a Fire Emblem games. You spend so much time in it.
Each unit's movement range is shown in blue, and their attack range in red. Once all of your units have completed their actions, your opponent's turn begins. You'll take turns moving and fighting across
Those
the
chariot
map
units are
as
going to
you
be so
engage
much fun.
fierce combat. Victory includes defeating the opposing leader, among other conditions. The 4 heroes and their allies can utilize various means of attack.
Here it comes, baby.
Straightforward and easy to wield. Gauntlets make it easier to evade attacks. Spears deal massive damage to cavalry units. Axes have low accuracy but high attack power. Bows strike enemies at a distance and can deal fatal blows to flying units. And magic is effective against foes with heavy armor. It can also heal or otherwise support allies in dire situations. There are also swords that call down lightning.
There it is. The
Yep.
Glock Princess, baby.
Other unique weapons. to
Okay,
fight.
pause it.
It's not a gauntlet, it's a gun.
I know.
Like,
Let's
come
just
on.
call it a gun.
Let's just call it a
They're
gun.
like gauntlets that
Yeah,
act
special
like
Resemble
gauntlets.
firearms.
Yeah,
Like, it's like,
yeah.
It's a gun.
It's a gun.
I wonder if it's like technically so like they showed the Levin sword, which is
Mhm.
standard Fire Emblem where you can use electricity. So I wonder if the guns are like magic gauntlets. And so
I
that's
think
why
they
they're
are.
calling them gauntlets because I mean obviously it's a gun, but
Magic
Yeah.
gun. It's still a gun.
I
What-
think that's what it is. I think it's kind of like it's like not all gauntlets are going to be guns, only some are. So they're like differentiating it as like a special type of this weapon,
yeah.
essentially.
And I think we can see as we get closer to release, but it sounds like the weapon triangle is not going to be in this game.
Yeah, that's what I read.
I don't think it is.
Because they're
gonna have
identifying
combat
all of
arts.
these as having like, advantages in certain situations, but it's not the standard weapon triangle.
Yeah.
No, it's like this is strong against this. This is strong against this. Like you're just going to kind of have to like have a well-rounded team to really combat anything that you come across.
Yeah. Yep. I
They'll
don't
have
think
a solid formula
I don't
in
think we
place for it.
saw much about skills, but my guess is if they're gonna get away from the weapon triangle like they did in Three Houses, that they'll still have skills that can kind of build it back in. But I
They're
don't
going to
remember
have
if
combat arts.
Okay, they will talk about that. Okay.
Yeah, they do. And I think it kind of works the same way where it affects weapon durability. And so you have to, you can't use them constantly.
Okay.
So, yeah.
All right.
Combat. When you strike within an enemy's range of attack, they might counterattack. Consider attacking those equipped with close-range weapons from a distance, and get up close and personal against long-range opponents to avoid counterattacks. The terrain can also give you an advantage. While adjacent allies can receive buffs,
That's cool. The support
take advantage
buffs.
of the situation to control the battlefield in your favor. Combat arts are attacks unleashed at the expense of weapon durability. There are attacks with greater power,
Animations look really good.
Yeah.
longer range. or
Hey,
other
Marianne. I mean,
advantageous
Ursula.
effects. So use them in
Yeah.
decisive moments.
There's so many characters like that.
There are also special moves that consume your soul in exchange for power, called Blaze Arts. Kai releases a burst of otherworldly power from his hand to cast flames in a wide area. After moving, Dietrich's ink-black cloak can warp him to locations on the battlefield that aren't easily accessible. Theodora uses the power inherited from her ancestors to rend the earth and hurl it at foes. Lita plays her Vihuela to buff allies. summon a powerful monster, and more. These special moves can turn the tide of battle, but at the cost of the hero's health points. Additionally, if your allies fall in battle,
I think I need a break.
you can turn back time. After each move, you can rewind to any previous point in battle, so don't be afraid to rethink your strategy if things don't go as
Hold
planned.
on. So I wanted to talk about some of that stuff. The blaze arts. It seems like it's just going to be consuming health points. But sometimes in these types of games, depending on how often you use powers like that, like when they say the word "it consumes your soul," some games have much more dire consequences in the long term if you overuse those kinds of powers. Like when I think about, I don't know if anybody's ever played this, but Valkyrie Profile Covenant of the Plume, which was a tactics Valkyrie Profile game, they had like a similar concept where you could use the plume to get super powerful, but there were massive consequences to doing that. And so there were advantages and even story changes / benefits. And I think a true ending if you didn't use it at all, but it could be very difficult not to use it. So I'm wondering if they're going to do anything more in depth with the Blaze Art concept, or if it's just like like the mechanic in this game that can give you like a super advantage that you just have to use sparingly, kind of like Engage, right? When you can use the Engage mechanic and it kind of made you a Super Saiyan for a hot minute. Maybe that's just what this is. It's just a mechanic, but I'll be interested to see if there's anything more to it, given how the story timeline and everything is going to play out. My ears perked up the first time I watched it when they said it consumes your soul. It's like, what do we mean?
Yeah, they
by
made it
that?
sound kind of dramatic. Like,
Yeah.
like maybe don't use these all the time. But
Right.
I think it's cool that each one of them has something different. So it kind of lends to the strategy of how you use them overall.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm excited about it.
On their class, such as Shido, who are skilled with swords, Bardingers, who fight on horseback, and bishops, who use white magic.
That is great, by the way.
We
The
have
stats.
the growth rates.
Yes.
They're visible.
The weapons they can
Finally.
wield, and their range of movement also vary. Classes are divided into beginner.
Look at those little pixel art
I love it.
classes. That's awesome.
Those classic.
Beginner classes are the foundation. Gladiators excel in handling weapons. Diviners can wield magic. And Orneus riders can cover more ground. There are 5 beginner classes in all. Specialty classes have more specific abilities. Armored knights boast ironclad defense.
That guy is
with
giant,
heavy
by the way.
Wing soldiers can leap obstacles and cover long distances, while charioteers can strike multiple enemies.
That's going to be busted, I can tell.
Yeah, this is going to be another Rider Emblem or Flyer Emblem situation.
Masters of their skills. Cataphracts have the mobility of horses with the defense
Like a paladin.
EO is her name, huh?
I think it's a
Okay.
guy.
Is it?
Guardians are skilled with both spears and white magic. Plus other classes.
That's cool.
possess a
Elephant Rider, let's go.
It's Elephant Rider, and that's Anna as well.
Yeah.
Elephant riders.
Here he is.
Other classes that fight while
Oh, we gotta
sliding
pause.
giant beasts.
All right, it's
That
the
was
man in
perfect
the
timing.
flesh.
Yes.
He could
Look
have
at
dyed
that.
his eyebrows if he really wanted to pass for someone else, but he's going by the same name, so maybe it doesn't matter.
What's fascinating to me about this is like, it seems like in some circumstances, the dragon characters aren't really hiding themselves, but Seth here is clearly trying to disguise himself for some reason.
Poorly. I know. It's interesting to me because it does seem like in this particular, like whether it's a different time period, different area, both, everybody feels a bit more open about who and what they are. Whereas I feel like in Three Houses, everything was secretive. Like everything was kind of like hush hush as far as the history of everything. But yeah, I'm interested to see why Sedith is doing this and like just how his personality might be different in this game compared to his Three Houses persona.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know, it just intrigues me. Because Solel again looks like a character who would be known as, I mean, he's called the Divine Sovereign, right? So like
it's out there, it's known.
Right. But Sedith like joining these games in hiding. I mean, maybe it could be that there is like, I don't know, maybe we have infighting with like the Dragonkin, right? Like maybe Sothis is the progenitor god, has her sort of family line, and Sedith is a part of that. And then there's the line that is trying to resurrect the Demon King or something. Like maybe there's some conflict there or something like that. But if Sedith is around, does that mean Rhea could be around?
I think it's possible. I think Flame could be around too. Who knows? I think that just putting him out there like this raises a lot of questions about, what is really happening with their family.
Yeah. Well, and it seems like they have the character who is Flane's mom. So maybe Flane's not around yet?
That's what a lot of people are saying, actually. Like, they're not sure if, this is before. But we don't know for sure if this is taking place before. So we'll see.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, so far, this trailer does seem to make it feel like more of a sequel than that first outing did. Or not a sequel, sorry, a prequel. A prequel, I mean. Yeah, a prequel. So I guess it remains to be seen, but there's a lot more going on here that seems to indicate that it would be a prequel.
I agree. I just think it's tough because that's one of those things that they're just not even, like, they're not giving us anything.
Yeah, they're not talking about it at all.
Yeah.
There's so much speculation on it. Are you ready? Let's get it. Prepare for battle.
Between matches, you'll have time to get ready for what's to come. You'll receive some useful intel about your next opponent. So use this information while exploring Daxian, or venturing off to improve your team's prowess in battle. The time is yours to spend.
Yeah, dungeons, let's go, baby.
Yep.
Let's look at some of the things you can do in
this part is sick.
The arena
this is going to be
where you can receive additional training.
I'm going to spend so much time doing this stuff.
This is how I'm going to get 500 hours out of this game.
Yep.
And be able to wield increasingly stronger weapons.
Look at that.
On match days, you can watch battles between other
get the intel
unfold to research your opponents.
Shopping.
At the shopping arcade, you'll purchase weapons and tools, or enhance your weapons using materials you've collected. This temple row is watched over by a bronze statue of the Divine Sovereign and is home to 7 temples. Depending on which temple you volunteer in, you'll acquire a blessing to use.
That's cool.
Look at those guys.
Yeah.
These provide effects such as a temporary stat buff.
Okay.
Having the damage you receive, and more. Speak to an exam proctor.
I'm excited about this.
Exam.
So here, pause it real quick, Slam.
The chance
You
of
got
success
it.
depends on who's
Bam.
I don't know about that outfit on Dietrich. Sorry, go ahead.
In Three
Yeah.
Houses, what I used to do, I don't know if they'll fix this, but in Three Houses, what I used to do is I would save it right before I would go to an exam, and I would go for the 25% or the lower percentage passing, because in some cases, when you're building a character, if you wanted to move them in a certain direction, it could be very difficult to do that at a high percentage. So what I mean is, like, I want this character to be a writer, so they need the horse riding skill, but it's hard to level up that skill without already being a writer. So you could either spend a lot of time trying to get them that skill and moving them on much more slowly, or you get just enough that you have like a 10 to 20% chance of passing an exam where there's a horse, and I would save it and just reset until they passed it. And that way I could get them on a horse, and then I could grind that skill up, and then they could go down that particular path of classes. So I'm glad to see that they still have this, and now I'm curious if you could pull that off here as well. Because in Three Houses, if you go to a certification exam and you fail, you have to try again later. So yeah, the save reset thing was kind of cheap, but I was able to move my classes a lot further, especially with Byleth.
Any way he can do it.
Yeah. If you
Guys,
let me break a
anyway.
game, I'm going to find a way.
This game will permanently ban you from playing it if you do that.
Like, we know what you're doing.
Gonna
I mean,
play it
some games
I'm gonna play it
don't. Like,
offline.
if you try to reload, it just gives you, like, it's already predetermined. So
Yeah.
I guess we'll see how this one works. But
You know, I'll
this
be
does-
testing that though.
oh,
Yes,
I
we know.
I mean, let us know, because if we can save scum, I'll be doing it. I'm
I
not
love-
above it.
I love the pixel art next to everything, how much they use it.
I do too.
It's
Yeah.
so cool.
Those look like the GBA games, so that makes me
Yeah.
happy.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I like
It's like a
that.
callback. It's
Mhm.
very cool.
It's sick.
Sick.
I was hoping Mags would do it too. One day.
To be sure they have the necessary skills before applying.
To attain the pleasure I seek.
You can also receive quests. from
Do I look
townsfolk.
okay to you?
Complete them by the given
He's going
deadline
through
to receive rewards. You never know who might ask for your help.
in this matter.
The Divine Sovereign? Why would someone...
He's just walking around like it's not a big deal.
You can also recruit powerful warriors you need in Daxian.
There she is.
Even if they turn you away
I
at
know,
first,
yeah.
try giving them gifts
Appreciate it. The spirits
or invite them to share a meal. That might be enough to win them over. At inns,
The food looks
not
good.
only can you lodge and
This
eat,
seems cool too.
but you can let time pass to gain experience and gather materials automatically.
Looking good.
Characters who've grown close may converse and show their support to each other here too.
Oh, and can I get a raise? Then I'd be
Psyched.
psyched to work even harder.
Thanks, Kai. I came here to say I was pulling for you, but it went the other way around.
As your journey continues, you'll gain access to even more facilities.
Pause for a second
This is
before
the
we get into all that,
Raven's Perk.
because that's about to be a big deal. I like how the support conversations look like they're just much more detailed and like have a variety of settings.
Yeah.
I feel like that's a big improvement to what we've seen in the past.
Yeah.
So I'm already like really excited to see what those are, because it just seems like that they'll take place in different locations and obviously have dialogue that corresponds. It almost feels like they're more like dates, whether, you know, platonic or romantic, whatever, like more like an outing instead
Yeah.
of just like a simple conversation. So that is really cool.
What'll be interesting is, like, there are some pairings. If this is a prequel, there will be some pairings that should be canon, but you have support options. So that's going to be interesting to see how that goes down.
Well, with all of the timeline shenanigan stuff, you could just change the future. If it's really like that, it's like they're kind of giving you control. So like whether or not it leads to what exactly happens in Three Houses, if it is indeed a prequel, it might not matter because they're just allowing you to have the choices instead of just having things be a certain way.
Yeah.
So that'll be interesting.
That's true. I also find it interesting, and this will be true when they get to dungeons as well. But we can talk about that when we get there. But the quests and the dungeons also add more traditional JRPG elements to this game that are expanding it and making Fire Emblem truly something unique in the strategy RPG realm. Like nobody is making games like Fire Emblem. So I found that really interesting. They had some things that you can do, some quests you could do in Three Houses as well. But the way it looks represented here, and again, when we get to the dungeons, like this is something genuinely unique and may make this one of the most interesting and versatile Fire Emblem games we've ever seen.
Let the record show.
Let the record show.
Look at this cute little bird.
Where a mysterious white bird rests its wings. From here,
I love
you
this.
can swap to a different hero. Progress is saved for each of the heroes, so playing through all 4 of their stories in parallel is an option.
And
are you guys going to do that?
Absolutely.
Play
Yes.
through them in parallel or play through them
Yeah.
individually, separately?
No, parallel for sure.
Yeah, because I think based on what we're going to see eventually, like I just want to have them all.
Yeah.
At the end. I do wonder, and maybe this is a dumb question, but it's a thought that I had. Like, are you going to be able to recruit every single character with every single lord in each route?
That's a good question.
The only reason I ask is because say you recruit like just a generic, like not generic, but like someone that could be recruited in all routes. Like say you recruit them and you can recruit them in all 4 like paths. Which version of them are you going to get at the end? Like when it all kind of like merges together. You know what I'm saying?
I thought about this as like 2 potential options here. Either some of those characters may not make it to the end. Or they have it so that each group can only recruit certain characters. So that you're not re-recruiting. Yeah, you're not re-recruiting the same characters. You have like your group / the characters that only this lord interacts with, which if they go that route, that's going to make this a really fascinating game where each path feels genuinely unique, unlike Three Houses, where you could, you're still trying to recruit kind of the same characters. So yeah, we'll see how they pull that off. But I thought about that because that would be weird to do it otherwise.
Is it a hot take to say that I would prefer that? Because I feel like having to recruit this, like everybody with every single lord would be very tedious.
Yeah,
no, I agree with you.
Yeah.
I agree with you as well. And I think that's going to be the case because I think what we're seeing here is the resolution of some of the issues with Three Houses. So like we all love Three Houses here, but the main critique of Three Houses from a gameplay standpoint and a time standpoint was the pre-time skip took a really long time. You're recruiting the same characters. You're going down a lot of the same paths. Like, yes, there's some variations, but you're repeating a lot of stuff over and over and over again. Whereas in this one, it seems like the reason they're even structuring the story this way, where you have the parallel paths, is because they're basically cutting out that repetitive pre-time skip concept altogether by just being like, hey, you could just go down these paths. And to make it even more fluid, it would make sense that each lord has their own set of units that they can work with. That possibly come back, we'll see. But by doing it that way, you can take care of as much as you want before you get to the next post time skip stage and you go and take on the last boss. So there are variations for how that post time skip can happen, because depending on what you do, you can only recruit certain people. Like we'll see later on, you could in theory try to go take on the last boss by yourself. So I think there's going to be some variation in how you can go about the story, but depending on how you invest in this part of the game can impact that second part without having to repeat anything. So like this is getting all of the benefits of Three Houses from a storytelling perspective, while still technically making this a single playthrough from what it looks like, which is really fascinating.
Possible. Yeah. I also wonder, and I have one other question about this. Do you think that will also work with the quests, or do you think that like every path will still have the same like side quest options?
I would assume they would be different, but it's hard to say.
It's hard to say, but it does seem like every path is genuinely unique.
Yeah, that's what I think that's why they're selling this and like marketing this as like you can play them all in parallel, right? Because if you are playing them all in parallel and they all have like very similar or same content, playing those 4 routes at the same time simultaneously would be not as
kind of boring.
Fun. Yeah.
No,
boring,
I think so
right?
too. That's my concern. Like really one of the only concerns I have, because I loved most of what we saw. I'm just like, I hope that with each of the routes, if you can play them in parallel, you're not having to do the same exact things with every single character.
Yeah, that's
like
my hope and
if they're truly
expectation.
unique, then playing through all 4 of them isn't going to feel as tedious as it would if they were the same.
Yeah.
So I'm hoping that too.
Yeah. It seems like, again, because of the way they're structuring all of this, the sort of pre-time skip stuff may also be more condensed. So it may be that everything we're seeing here for the pre-time skip is only, let's call it 30% of the overall story. And the majority of the story that we haven't seen is actually post-time skip. If they do that, then making those segments more unique from a dev standpoint would be easier, because they're not trying to get all of the game unique into each individual path. If it's a smaller percentage of the game that you can hit all 4 in parallel, then like it's totally doable for them to have made those completely unique. So that would be my, like, if I had to bet on it, that would be my bet, that it's going to be totally unique for each path. Each path will probably take, I don't know, let's call it 10, 15 hours each. That would be my guess. And then when those are all done, that post time skip is going to be like the meat of the story once everybody's back and you're trying to save the world. That's my guess.
I hope you're right, because that sounds perfect to me.
I hope he's right too.
Yeah. The world map is back, baby.
And how you bump into him on there might be a little reminiscent of Unicorn Overlord. You know?
To purchase local
Unicorn Overlord.
Unicorn Overlord.
That's right.
Gather information that could be useful on your adventure.
I love the camps. I think this is so cool.
Everyone's abilities in battle. Enemies will randomly appear on the world map. When you encounter one, a skirmish will begin. Earn experience points by felling your foes.
Yeah, let's go.
Dungeons.
This is straight RPG stuff right here, baby.
Along with other treasures. When you encounter enemies roaming in a dungeon.
That looks futuristic. Does anybody else?
Like a nice turn-based battle system here.
From normal battles will begin.
This was probably one of the more unexpected things I saw from it.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't anticipate that at all.
Plus, each of the 4 heroes can use abilities that are
Yeah.
unique to them. For instance, Dietrich
That's
can
cool.
flush out enemies in hiding, while Theodora can recruit soldiers in towns and send out her assembled troops to gather materials or deploy them in
Oh,
battle.
yeah.
That's my queen.
Blow them up.
Need some help!
Make the most of these commands to enhance your power in battle.
All right, pause it.
Yeah, there's some stuff to talk about there.
Yeah. So the world map, we did get the world map in Engage. And Engage had a pretty good world map. But this looks like, I don't know, the ultimate world map. There's so many different things that you can do. Like, it's very reminiscent of Sacred Stones for me. Sacred Stones wasn't as intense as this. But there's so many things going on there. But the dungeons, like, again, I mentioned this earlier, but we have a turn-based combat system in a Fire Emblem game, which is the most wild thing ever for somebody who's a Fire Emblem fan, but also for Nintendo. Like, Nintendo doesn't really have a lot of turn-based representation in their lineup. I was listening to a video, I forget who it was, but they asked the question, like, does this mean that we could potentially see like a Fire Emblem spin-off that's like a turn-based JRPG, which would be really freaking cool.
That would
But
be
even
so awesome.
if not, like, it is sweet to see them lean into dungeons like this in a way that make it completely unique. And I'm curious, like, how much in depth you can get into party customization and things like that when you go into some of these dungeons, like who you can take, what they can do. I'm really curious to see how far it goes. My guess is it's going to be a relatively straightforward turn-based system. Like, I can't imagine they're going to get super in depth, just because of the sheer size of the game at this point. But that was a genuine, like, I was jaw dropped when I saw this trailer. I couldn't believe that they were talking about that. It looked so freaking good. I was just thinking I was excited to see dungeons a la Shadows of Valentia again, but this is like something else entirely, and there's going to be so much that you'll be able to dig into with some of this stuff. I'm freaking hyped for that.
Yeah, the world map kind of like, this was my most surprising thing from the 4. Playing them all in parallel was a nice surprise, but this as well, because not only do you get dungeon crawling, you get turn-based combat, you get unique abilities from each of the characters in the world map, you get skirmishes, you get just like such an onslaught of unique mechanics from different subgenres of JRPGs that, like, it completely changes my frame of mind of what I like, my expectation of what this game was actually going to be, and the moment to moment gameplay. So yeah, that was huge.
Yeah, they just took Fire Emblem and said, why not?
Yeah.
Yeah, the scope is already like so much bigger than it was before we had this direct. I don't think we really knew how much was going to be in this game. And I agree with y'all on the turn-based combat. We don't have to go into that anymore, but did y'all notice how futuristic that dungeon looked where it was showcased? I just wonder what that's about. Like, I don't feel like that's in there for no reason.
No, probably not.
Not when everything else looks like it's from, like Rome. Like, what is that doing there?
I'm hoping from a story standpoint, and I don't think this will spoil anything, because if you know, you know, and if you don't, you don't. But those who slither in the dark in Three Houses, they had a bunch of futuristic gear. There were missiles, there were all kinds of things that you can get into, like in Shambhala later in the game. So one of the disappointments of Three Houses was the way they handled that particular faction was never fully resolved. And in Edelgard's route, it was just kind of like mentioned at the end. So I'm hoping that they not only give us a bunch of, the new stuff that they're promising that's really exciting, but I'm hoping they kind of like fill in some of those gaps for Three Houses and add to some of that lore, because that was a big question mark in Three Houses too. Like, who the heck are these guys? Where did they get this tech? What is this? And you never really got an answer. And this is from someone who played every single possible thing you can play in that game. There's tons of implications. There's things that you can pull together, but there's never any outright information about some of that stuff. They just kind of like leave you to guess. And that futuristic stuff seemed to indicate to me that we might be seeing more of the foundations of those things. So that's my guess. We'll see.
Yeah, and the fact that it was Dietrich in that dungeon too. Perhaps there's something more there.
Yep.
Boom.
There he is again.
Bold warriors, draw now upon your strength. Hold fast to the devotion.
There she is again.
For those who stand upon the final stage, I shall grant whatever wish you may desire. So say I, the divine sovereign, that I vow to you. People of Daxian,
I think that's the guy.
hear me now as I declare that the
Killed her
heroic
dad.
games
Maybe. There's going to be some twist there, though.
Oh, for sure. Speaking
And
of twists,
then we fade into the time skip. I love that they kept that concept, by the way.
whoever took off her head, though, by the way, is going to catch these hands.
I think that's significant, actually.
I do too. No, I do too.
Flames ever burning bright. This is a song from Three Houses, by the way. I know the soundtrack back and forth.
I see that my song has finally reached your ears.
That's the song that Rhea used to sing.
Mm-hmm.
5 years after the heroic games, Dagda faces its end at the hands of the revived demon god
The war.
Even
Oh.
the 4 heroes who played a significant role in the heroic games.
I just thought of something.
To confront the situation, the progenitor god, Sophis, calls down a single soul.
Aw, yeah, baby.
This is the story's true protagonist. You are given 2 choices. Face the forces of the demon god Balor on your own, with the knowledge that it's no easy task.
It gets owned.
or use the time-traveling powers of the goddess Fortuna.
Who's also voiced by the same voice actress as Sothis.
To change the fates of the 4 heroes.
Yeah.
You must carve your path in the hope of saving.
Yeah, see, that all looks very Shambhala-ish.
Those who join you in the future will strengthen the might of your assembled forces. This is where your story begins. The end of the world at the hands.
And where the fortunes weave.
That's right.
Which path?
Which, by the way, that's connected to Fortuna. So,
Yeah.
The rest is up to you.
Fire Emblem Fortune's Weave.
that's right.
September
Let's
17th,
go.
Only on
Some
the
people-
Switch 2 system. Pre-orders are available now.
Do you like that
And
dance
get
thing I
that
did?
deluxe edition,
Fire Emblem
baby.
Fortune's
I
That's
got it.
right.
Collection,
Me too.
Which includes a 150-page art book, 12 character art cards, and more will be available the same day.
Steelbook looks sick. Sick.
Plus,
Sick.
more Fire Emblem content will be
Yes, and
available
the music
following
is so
the presentation.
good.
It is really good. You gotta check it out.
Yeah.
Nintendo Music, a service that lets you listen to Nintendo
All right.
game music anytime, anywhere.
So a couple
You'll
things.
be
Number
updated
one,
on
Yep.
certain tracks.
Now I'm wondering if the lady walking in with the baby is Flane's mom, and the baby is Flane, because Sedith is protecting Flane because of what happened to his mom, and maybe she gets, I don't know, sucked into the bad guy's powers somehow, and I don't know, that's baby Flane. Who knows? That was something that came to mind with that one.
It could. Or I've heard that the baby could be the demon god.
Ooh, what if the demon god is connected to Byleth?
I mean, that family tree, who
Yeah,
even knows?
because Byleth
anything's
is the
possible.
Ashen demon.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I'm really hoping there's some connection to Byleth. That was my original theory before
Mhm.
we had seen Eshmel and we got all that information. And Fortuna does cast doubt in my theory, because Fortuna is the one bringing about the time shenanigans in this particular game. But yeah, I'm going to be really curious how all of these things are connected together, and how Fortuna and Sothis are interacting, because they're both deities, and Sothis is the one bringing about Eshmel, but Fortuna is the one that gives him the power to go back. Yeah, so we'll see. I'm ready for this game.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how that.
I was
I've seen
born
people.
ready.
I've seen people theorize that like Sothis like has imparted some of her power to Fortuna, and that's how she's able to handle the time traveling stuff. Because I mean, that was also kind of Sothis's thing in Three Houses.
Yeah.
So it wouldn't be unusual for her to pass that on. In that area as well, that was featured in the direct, like those 4 stones, those are like representative of each lord.
Right.
So like depending on which one you interact with, that's the route that you go down, and then when you change, it will change.
Yeah.
Depending on that. So I think Nintendo today posted a scene. It was like maybe 30 seconds to a minute long of what I think is one of the very first scenes of the game, which is where you're with Fortuna, you're Eshmel, and basically she's leading you into that room where the 4 like obelisks are, and then you're going to have to pick. So I'm thinking that the game is going to start with you as Eshmel, and then you're going to be, having to choose your path.
Yeah,
And then
I
go
think-
back in time.
Yeah, I think that's how it's going to be structured. Like Eshmel starts post time skip, you go back to pre time skip, everything you do in pre-time skip impacts the future, and then you come back to the future and carry on and do whatever you will. Yeah, and I think that's a really great way to, again, structure the story in a way that gives you all the benefits of Three Houses with those paths, but streamlines it so that it feels like it's more of a direct, straight path. And I was curious. I know there's that scene in the trailer where all of the heroes are standing next to Eshmel, but I'm curious if when you save them and then you go back to the 5-year time skip, if they'll get the glow up designs like we got in Three Houses with all of the characters. Because I think that could be really, really cool, and we might not have seen any of that yet. So curious to see how that plays out.
Yeah, especially with Kai, because he's young. Like, he would be going from what, like 15 to 20 years old in a time skip scenario. So while the other three, they may
Kai
not
is
look
what
much
I'm most excited
older.
about.
Yeah, like he might be different. Yeah, it's interesting. I know there's been a lot of conversation about Eshmel and like the reveal that like that's the true protagonist, because we didn't really know. I mean, we knew they were on the cover essentially when it was first revealed, but we didn't know with what kind of role they were going to play, and now we do, and now we know that they're going to be customizable. So how do y'all feel about that, since that was kind of a really big reveal from this entire thing?
I wasn't surprised. It seemed like that was going to be the case. Like when we saw Eshmel on the cover, it was like, oh, that's the Bila of this game. Like,
yeah, that's what I thought. Yeah.
So it wasn't like some people were like, oh, wow, the real protagonist, this is such a big deal. And it was like, did we not really know that? I guess it wasn't confirmed, but.
Well, and it also wasn't confirmed exactly what they were going to do.
Sure.
Like going back in time to save.
To save
the Four Lords.
Yeah,
and then,
I was
like that
curious
concept
about how that would be handled, because we knew like so many bits and pieces prior to this direct. But everything else was like, how is everything going to fit in here? I love that the direct kind of ironed all that out, gave me a good idea of what to expect and what to look forward to, and also honestly how to approach the game when I play it. You know, I think like this is actually really valuable information from this direct, where it's like, if you really want to go in and get the most out of Fortune's Weave, you probably should watch this. And very rarely, I mean, sometimes when I'm completely sold on a game, I want to go in blind, and I'm like, okay, I've already seen enough. You know, I don't need to see any more. I want to just go in and play it. But I actually felt like this direct was pretty valuable in the sense that like, I'm going to probably play this a little bit differently based on what I just saw. Right. That's not common for most games. And I think I'm happy with everything we got, with how they revealed it. And Brandon, earlier you mentioned you think like each one of these paths probably going to be like 15 hours, and then time skip is going to be the meaty like chunk of the game, which we're probably in for just such a long
it's going to be a long
experience.
But I don't think this is one we'd have to replay.
Yep.
Yeah, I think that's the big thing. Like the way, so for me, Eshmel wasn't as surprising as the structure of the game itself is, because like I don't think any of us even thought about solving for some of those challenges that we've brought up the way that they did. Like, it's brilliant to be able to say like, yeah, this might be a long RPG, but number one, you can shorten it by, in theory, just choosing one character. But if you do all of it, this is one playthrough. Which completely changed, like it just changes the game. And so yeah, it might end up being 100 to 120 hour JRPG. But that's if you do everything. And there may be some runs that you want to see how far you can get or what you can get away with if you don't do everything, right? Like it still gives you some interesting variation and replayability, that you got from Three Houses, but in a unique twist in the way they're doing it in this game. So, like, as far as I'm concerned, this is beyond anything I could have imagined for a sequel to Three Houses. Like, I'm not a prequel, sequel, whatever, but like the next one, right?
The follow up.
Yeah.
Mhm.
They really did improve everything in every conceivable way. It looks better, it runs better, and then this almost feels like Nintendo just kind of does this these days, I guess, where they just blow everything out of the water. They're like, oh, you were looking for the next Fire Emblem? You have no idea what's coming. Because this is wild. Everything they put into this game, all of the extra mechanics, all of the options, the way they streamlined it, the way they put it together, the story's going to be amazing. The music is incredible. Like, this is going to be a 10 out of 10. Like, this is gonna be top tier. It's probably gonna be my game of the year. Like, there's nothing that's gonna hit for me like this, but that's because I'm obsessed with Fire Emblem. You all know that. This is wild, absolutely wild looking. I'm so excited about this.
It's fire.
We're Emblem?
Fortune's Weave?
Fortune's Weave? Maybe?
Fortune's Weave.
I think that was a great way to close out our thoughts on the Direct. Any final thoughts from anyone? I think we're all really hyped about this. You know, we're going to be talking about it extensively on this show, especially as we get closer. I really would like to find the time to play one route in Fire Emblem Three Houses. I didn't play all three. I'm missing one route. So
which one are you missing?
There's 4 routes.
Yeah, there's 4. I didn't play the Blue Lion.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That was that was probably the least interesting route for me, but
Really?
it's still really good. Yeah, it's really good.
I love that one.
Yeah, that's the one I didn't play. I played Edelgard and the Golden Deer. But yeah, now should we get into questions?
Let's do it.
Let's get into questions. So we'll answer, I'd say, half the questions on this show, and another half will be on next week's show with
Sounds
a special
good.
surprise.
Yeah.
And just before we get into the questions, again, for anybody who's still here, we have a membership for those who are interested in joining. If you join our membership, you can ask questions for our weekly episodes that we'll be answering here, but you also get access to our library of pre-show episodes, and there's tons of content there. We do a monthly special episode just for our members at the highest tier. And if you just want to engage with our community, you can jump into our Discord community and have fun chatting with everybody there. We have an amazing community. We love seeing you guys come in there and chat it up and share recommendations and show off what you're doing and talk about what you're playing and show us your cats and dogs, because that's
Post
been
your
happening
cute
in the
pet
pets.
photos.
Yeah, pet pictures as well.
Yep.
But there's a lot of cool ways that you can interact with us. If you are interested in supporting us, we'd love your support with the membership here. And there's a lot of extra value for you there as well. So just wanted to shout that out before Slam gets into the questions.
Let's do it.
All right. Start off with Bing Cakes. Hello, friends. Hope you all had an amazing week. Quite an interesting proposal, but if I gave you the opportunity to be part of making a JRPG and you were to be in charge of the main story, what kind of story would each of you want to tell? What kind of world, characters, plot, etc.? Kind regards, Bean.
Oh, this is tough. What kind of story?
I had, when I was younger, I had this story that I thought up. It was actually, a lot of it was inspired by Fire Emblem. I don't know what I would call it, but it was essentially a story of redemption. I love the idea of a story where there's a character who is kind of recruited as part of this like local military. And I loved I used to draw, and his designs were based on the assassin class in Fire Emblem because I love that, like the dual wielding and all of that. But basically going and taking out these different threats to the region. And then having sort of this moment in time where he realizes that he and everybody else in his region have been manipulated into believing that these different groups were threats, and they actually were not threats. But in fact, the region in question was sort of taken over by these dark forces that were manipulating sort of the situation. And so it's kind of this story, or would have been the story of this awakening where he realizes all of the terrible deeds that he's done against those who are actually the rightful heirs of this region. And then going through the process of grappling with like what he's done wrong, in addition to grappling with sort of the dark forces at hand that were trying to draw him into that, and going through this sort of redemption story arc where he gathers his forces, and they go directly for the throne and sort of challenge the powers that be. And that character's name was Nova. If you guys know me, or if you've heard me talk about any characters that I've made in a game or anything like that, it was always Nova, because I just made up this character. It was based on a wolf, long story short, that I like adopted at a local zoo, where you can support the zoo and you adopt and get this little certificate. So there's a wolf named Nova, and I thought that was such a cool name. So yeah, came up with a character, and I loved the idea of this like redemption arc, but not just a redemption arc that's kind of like basic from start to finish, but a redemption arc that had a piece of it where the twist is you realize you've been the bad guy the whole time, and you now have to grapple with the consequences of having been the bad guy. So I'll just go with that, because that's a story that I had on my head literally since the 6th grade. So yeah, that's what I'd run with.
Mags, you have any ideas?
There you go. Yeah, I do. I've always been such a sucker for the stories where you have just a bunch of like random weird people who might not be like, the most popular, or they might be ostracized from society for one reason or the other, but through some sort of chance or fate, they come together and they end up having to work together as a team to defeat whatever evil forces are there. I don't know. I really
Guardians
love
of the Galaxy.
Kind of like that. I was going to say Mass Effect 2, actually, because I feel like that game is one of the best examples of how to do that story. But I'd love to see it more so in like a fantasy setting, because it just reminds me of like D&D and like, more classic JRPGs, where it's like this just group of people that would probably never amount to a lot on their own come together to like do something amazing because they were able to work together as a team. And so I love that concept, and that's probably the story that I would tell.
That sounds sick, actually. Right? I think I've always wanted to do like a futuristic cyberpunk aesthetic JRPG with some like crazy action combat, and like as far as the story is concerned, I feel like I would maybe lean heavy into like world building lore, let the environment, like a lot of environmental storytelling, I think would be really cool. But a lot of like really interesting characters and factions and groups, and like kind of like some spy stuff with some espionage. Like I'm just like wheels are spinning in my head, right? Of thing like this is not right now. This doesn't make sense, but
you're processing.
I'm processing. I've got like all these things I want to put in there, and I'll make it work. But that's what I'm aiming for.
I like it.
Next
All right.
question. All right. Good day, mates. I hope you had a good week.
It's from That's Bread.
Yeah.
That's from That's Bread. Thank you, Mag. Sorry about that. Sorry, Bread. We love bread.
We love bread on this podcast.
We do.
We love
Sandwiches.
Sandwiches are great. Yeah.
Peanut butter and jelly, grilled cheese.
Yeah.
I was gonna say grilled cheese for you this time, Mags, but you beat me to it.
Sorry, I didn't mean to.
Add some tomato soup to that grilled cheese.
Ooh, yeah.
Or
tomato.
Right, or put some turkey on the grilled
Yeah.
cheese. Make it like a panini.
You got it. All right.
Okay.
I hope you've had a good week. I've been playing Stranger of Paradise, and despite it being a weird experience, it is weird. I really liked how the developers took the original Final Fantasy game and reimagined it into a completely different game. So my question is, are there any games would be interested in being reimagined in a similar way? What would that game look like? As an example, I think it would be cool to take Final Fantasy VI and make a Elden Ring inspired game set entirely in the world of Ruin, but in an alternate timeline where the original cast didn't survive the encounter with Kefka on the floating continent and several years have passed. Souls games are often set in the worlds that have seen destruction and everything feels hopeless, and I think the world of Ruin would fit that vibe. I have many ideas for this concept, but I'll leave it there.
I love how we're being asked to create games with these questions.
I know.
Were they talking when they asked these questions?
Bean cake and bread. Maybe they were baking together.
Oh, yeah.
Cooking up some questions.
This is a hard one.
It is, yeah.
I don't know. I don't know. I feel like given his example, I feel like I need to think of a game where there's an aspect of the game that could be its own game.
Stranger of Paradise is just like such a weird. It's like a weird thing. It's like it is not something commonly done where an old school traditional JRPG is remade into a kind of Neo Ninja Gaiden style game like Stranger of Paradise. Yeah, exactly.
I guess one example that I can think of off the top of my head, because it's actually kind of happened in Trails, is that I would love to, like, of course, it's Trails, so I would like anything that they would do, but like I wouldn't mind more like visual novel-esque experiences from Trails, because in Trails into Reverie in particular, this isn't really spoiling anything major, but basically there are certain parts of the game where you view daydreams is what they're called, and there's not really a ton of gameplay, but there's a lot of story and lore that's kind of like playing out that you interact with. And I wouldn't mind if there were more experiences like that within the Trails universe, because there's just so many characters and so many things they could tell stories about. I wouldn't mind like digesting those experiences in a more like visual novel-esque experience. So if Trails did that, I think that'd be super cool.
Yeah,
I would say like Persona doing Persona's already done so many variations of like, they've got Persona Tactica, they've got a Muso game, they've got
Xenoblade Warriors.
Xenoblade Warriors. No. Yeah, that's it, baby.
No.
Got it. We got it.
Which one are they remaking for Xenoblade Warriors?
All of them?
All of them into one. That's what we'll do. That's my choice.
One large cast. That's your choice. You're going to actually claim it.
Yeah, I'll do it.
Wow.
I'll claim it.
I was going to say, I don't know if this counts, but I would love Final Fantasy 14 in a standard turn-based JRPG, like classic Final Fantasy, either as a like modern graphics or as a demake. I don't know if anybody remembers Final Fantasy Record Keeper. There was a mobile game. It's the one of the last mobile games I got super into years and years and years ago, and they shut it down because the digital future sucks. But the entire thing was going through all of the Final Fantasies and then having basically demake versions of the stories where you would go fight these bosses, but like the characters were like classic pixel art kinds of things, and you would like build your team. And seeing Final Fantasy 14 through that lens was pretty freaking cool. So if they took each of the expansions and turned them into single player turn-based RPGs, I think that would be really freaking cool, and a really great way for people who don't have access to the MMO or aren't paying for the MMO to be able to get access to those stories, because those stories are fantastic. So
yeah, I mean, it's hard to choose. I feel like some of my favorites have been changed up a little. Like, you've got Breath of the Wild, which is kind of like Zelda 1 in a modern open world setting, right? You've got, Persona, which didn't remake any specific Persona game, but spun off into a million different genres. I actually liked Stranger of Paradise, so there's, one instance of it. But I am an Elden Ring Souls-like fan, and I think your example is a really well thought out one that I would actually enjoy playing.
Cool.
All right.
Good question.
This is going to be the last question. And A-Rock 10. So you know what we get when we get an A-Rock question. And we get a ton of emojis. And since I'm hosting this week for the first and probably last time ever.
Let's go. That's not true.
You're doing great.
I'm trying, guys. All right. I'm going to do my best and try to do the emojis here. So hello, guys. I hope y'all are doing great. Been busy lately, so I missed out a few weeks, but stars, confetti, party. Congratulations on 2K subs. Flames. Y'all are great and will continue to grow. Cheers to the future. Cheers.
Wait.
Oh.
Cheers. Cheers.
Haven't played anything for a while, and I am thinking of finally playing either Star Ocean or Atelier. Always push those back for other games, but finally I decided to go at it till Neo 3 DLC drops. Please give me your tidbits and suggestions on both Star Ocean and Atelier from your experience and which I should play first. Congratulations once again. Thank you.
Thanks, buddy.
Yeah.
I'll start with Star Ocean. I haven't played Atelier. Star Ocean, if you want to get the general concept of a Star Ocean game, you have Star Ocean characters in space. Something goes wrong. They go onto a planet that is underdeveloped. They try to hide their stuff because they're technically not supposed to be there. And then they find out that there's some crazy, weird shenanigans with all kinds of tech already on the planet, and usually some dastardly deed happening by some villain that they have to figure out. And there are cosmic consequences. That's like Star Ocean in a nutshell. My favorite Star Ocean games are 2 and 3. 1 is a solid game. I love 1. Divine Force, I've heard, and Mags has mentioned, is like criminally really underrated. But personally, for me, when I think about going back to Star Ocean, like I want to go back and play 3 till the end of time. I love that game. It's got one of the wildest twists in the PS2 era. So that's one that I would recommend. But also Star Ocean 2, the second story R, is an incredible remake. It's basically HD 2D, even though it's not. I'm not even sure what you would call that art style, but
HD 3D, and then it's just HD.
Then it's just right. Which I think you said in one of your videos, Slam.
I did.
So that game.
Last time I ranked them, everyone was mad it wasn't there. Which it's like, hey, I get it. It's kind of like HD.
It's so close.
It's so close. And I do love the game so much, so I went ahead and ranked it this time around.
Yeah. So 2 and 3 would be my high recommends for Star Ocean. And in terms of like gameplay and stuff, it's not turn based. You have like when you get into battles, there's like a little arena and you go around and you have different skills and stuff. But like these games, I probably love them because of how insanely you can break these games like right down the middle. There's so many things you can do with skills, and you learn all these things. You get stat boosts, and you get items, and then you can craft certain things. Then you can start crafting stupid weapons, and depending on how you do it, you could just get absurdly powerful very quickly. In Star Ocean 3, there's like a crafting mechanic where you can take stones and you can get them into your weapons. And same thing, you can get some really stupid weapons. Or if you're really dumb like me, in the very beginning of one of the areas, you can grind a whole lot and buy a really powerful sword way earlier than you're supposed to, but you'll probably spend a good 5 hours grinding to get that much money. But sometimes, when I was a kid, I just wanted to know that I could do it and I can walk into the next segment of the game with a sword I wasn't supposed to have. So that's an option in 3 as well. After you get Nell, I believe. So either of those are super, super fun, but I'll let someone else speak to Atelier.
I've played a lot of Atelier. I haven't played all of them, but I've played the Ryza trilogy. I've played Yumiya, and I played the Wrestleriana. Yeah, Wrestleriana. I had to do it for the joke.
I know. Just so he knows what you're talking about.
Okay. Mags just has to confirm. Okay. Wrestleriana. Wrestleriana is probably my least favorite of all of them. It was like an adaptation from a mobile game.
Mm-hmm.
It does have some redeeming features and gets good later. It just takes a while to get there. The Ryza trilogy is probably the best of what Atelier has to offer. And it's also probably the purest form of Atelier. So like when you talk to somebody about Atelier, Ryza features like probably the best versions of all of the like traditional Atelier mechanics, in my opinion, from the ones that I've played. And I've played like Atelier Sophie as well. I've played some of the older ones.
Ryza is probably the best iteration of modern Atelier.
Yeah.
It is a bit different from a lot of the older games, but if you've not played the older games, then you're not going to notice a lot of difference.
I've played a couple of the older ones.
Yeah.
But like while they play a little bit differently, but the ultimate focus around them is the same. And it's like it's a lighthearted, kind of cozy adventure where crafting is central to everything, revolves around it. It's not as like dark and twisted as some of the more like overarching JRPG storylines. So if you're looking for something a little bit more lighthearted and adventurous and you enjoy crafting a lot, Atelier is right up your alley. I would, if you're looking for a modern Atelier game, recommend Ryza or Yumiya. I enjoyed Yumiya. Some people did not because they switched up the combat system a little bit, but I liked Yumiya. And then for the older one, like I enjoyed Atelier Sophie, and I think that's a pretty popular one. A lot of people
Sophie's
enjoyed that
really
one.
good. Sophie and Sophie 2 are both great.
And those are a little bit are a little bit older, so they play a little bit differently, but those are really good stories.
Mm-hmm.
And I enjoy Star Ocean Second Story R. That's probably my favorite Star Ocean game. I'm not a huge Star Ocean guy, I haven't played all of them. I've played a few of them, but Star Ocean Second Story R is probably my favorite. I enjoy it.
It's a solid one for sure. Yeah. It's also the between 2 and 3, it's the more easily accessible. You can technically play 3 on the PS5. You can get a digital version, but outside of that, you have to have the PS2 game. So Second Story R is the easiest to get access to, and it's a fantastic game.
Yeah.
All right,
Mags.
Good stuff.
Do you have thoughts on Atelier or Star Ocean?
I mean, not much different than what y'all have said. I think that Second Story R is a great place to start with Star Ocean. I actually played the Divine Force first and liked it a lot, so I don't think you can go wrong either way with those. And then with Atelier, I think for someone who's not touched any of the games, I think Ryza is a good place to start to see if you would like it. Because a lot of the other games, like, they handle crafting a little bit differently, combat's a bit different, but like it still retains like what the basic premise is. Like, you're going to craft a lot. You're going to have an upbeat story. It's going to have some amazing music. It's going to look really good. And it's just wholesome.
Yeah.
And so you can kind of count on that. And Ryza's just a great protagonist too. She's just funny.
The whole crew is great.
Yeah, it's a great cast. It's a great story. It spans 3 games as well. So like you can kind of get a full like trilogy out of it. So I think that's a good place to start if you want to see what Atelier is all about.
Agreed.
And I think, isn't there, I mean, I'm not sure if you can still get it, but wasn't there like a trilogy pack you can get on like PlayAsia?
Yep.
They do have the DX. Yeah, I think it's like Ryza DX.
Switch 2 as well. I played the Switch 2 trilogy pack and it runs well.
Yeah.
So
word.
Good stuff.
That's it for questions this week. Stay tuned. If your question didn't get answered this week, it'll get answered next week because of our recording schedule being a little weird. Stay tuned. Now we move on to bonus XP, and I'm hosting. So what do we got for bonus XP this week? We have another instance of JRPG Courtroom. Yeah, that's right. We're back with JRPG Courtroom. This is where I suggest a game. They decide who's going to defend the game, who's going to attack the game. They got to convince me whether it's going to spend life in prison or if it's going to stay out of prison and everyone in the world has to play it as a purely recommended game by the Level Up Legacy podcast. All right. So now, before I list the game, you guys have any words?
I'm scared.
I'm ready.
All right, he's ready. The game for today's JRPG Courtroom is Xenoblade Chronicles X.
I will be against.
What? He wants to make this so interesting. He wants Mags to defend Xenoblade Chronicles X.
Oh boy. Really? Why do you want to put me in that spot?
Because chaos, Mags. Because chaos. Because this is what we do. And I need to say this, or maybe Slam as the judge, is that you have to do your best, Mags. You cannot flop on this one.
I'm not going to flop. I don't flop. Are you kidding me?
I trust Mags to do her best to convince everyone why they should get the Level Up Legacy seal of approval.
Okay.
Can it be the definitive edition
of Xenoblade Chronicles X? Yeah, of course.
Yeah. Okay. Because I never played it on Wii U, so I'm just...
Yeah, it could definitely be the definitive edition for sure. But you don't have to necessarily... Well...
Oh, no.
Okay.
I already know. I'm already thinking about what I have to say here.
All right.
Okay.
I'm just going to leave it. I'm going to be the judge. Judge Slam here. You guys, I just want to say that this is going to receive a fair trial. All of your statements will be taken into consideration. And I'm looking forward to hearing both of your arguments. So we're going to open with opening statements from Mags.
To start. Okay. All right. Your Honor, Judge Zaney, we have come here today to talk about the pros, the benefits of playing Xenoblade Chronicles X. Now, you may be wondering, why is it called Xenoblade Chronicles X? It's not a numbered entry. Why is this game significant? Well, it's part of the Xenoblade series, so automatically that makes it worth your attention.
Okay.
All right. Now, it's a little bit different. This game has some sci-fi. All right. This game has got a different planet than what we're used to. It also has a customizable protagonist. So you can enter the story as a character you create. In addition to that, you get to team up with an absolute queen named Elma. And make this planet of Mira a new home for humanity after they escape Earth that has been destroyed. And so that is where you start in Xenoblade X, and that is where your story begins.
This sounds amazing. So intriguing. Definitely sounds like an incredible Xenoblade game. Brandon, you're up.
Your Honor. Slam Zany.
Of course.
Sir Slam. Slam Demonium.
Like that one.
Xenoblade Chronicles X is X for a reason. Because if you only have so much time to play the Xenoblade games, you want to X this one out of your backlog. You see, Xenoblade Chronicles 1, 2, and 3 are some of the greatest JRPGs ever made. They are absolutely incredible. Does Xenoblade Chronicles X follow the same structure and patterns that make those games so good? No, it doesn't. In this game, you start with a character that you create, and while you do meet some fantastic characters like Elma, they are otherwise tossed aside in the definitive edition for characters in the epilogue that would otherwise not need to be there because Elma is so strong of a character. You go through this game, and not only does it take forever to get to the things that they promise you that look good, like scales and flying through the skies, but the side quests are unbelievably overwhelming. Hundreds of them listed. You don't know what you need to do, how you need to get there. In some cases, the story itself fails to progress and gives players so much frustration when it comes to getting to those elements that they want to enjoy. Overall, the experience is slow, it's frustrating, and while there can be some high highs, asking a player to put in the amount of time to get to those high highs when they could be playing the greatest trilogy, one of the greatest trilogies ever made, is a hard ask. And so I say, Your Honor, Xenoblade Chronicles X should be removed from your recommendation.
Wow. I mean, you sold me on a lot of things there. I have so many questions. These scales, what are they? Mags, you're up.
Okay, so I can understand the points. I feel like, I don't know if, I guess it's, is it prosecutor Brandon? I don't know what side we're having to deal with here. Anyway,
I do appreciate that you're trying to give me a title, though. Thank you, Max. I appreciate it.
Sure, of course. Yeah. You made some good points.
More like executor.
So what I would say to that, though, is that if you're a true Xeno fan, you know that all these games, no matter what they're called, if there's Xeno in there, they're connected. And it's important to make sure that you understand the connections to get the full experience and to have those aha moments when you're playing the game. So, while I will say that Elma being sidelined in the epilogue of Xenoblade X was not the best, that epilogue has implications for not only Xenoblade 1, 2, and 3, but for Xenoblade Genesis, which is coming out next year. So,
sounds like
if you want to have a complete understanding of what you're getting into for that game, Xenoblade X is worth your time. Not just because you can pilot a sick scale that has all sorts of customizable abilities and lets you traverse the planet and have a great time completing quests and making traversing this world so much easier.
That's amazing.
You can also discover lore within this game that connects not only to Xenoblade 1, 2, and 3, and specifically Xenoblade 3's Future Redeemed epilogue, but also you may get some hints about what Xenoblade Genesis story could be about.
Wow. Wow. My jaw's on the floor. I'm going to have to pick that up later. All right. Brandon?
But what about the old schoolhouse?
We're going to have a schoolhouse in Xenoblade Genesis, so...
That's true.
It does fit.
Hopefully it's not old.
Right.
All right.
Your Honor.
Yeah.
While I do concede that every game that has Xeno has some connected story and lore, I can't say that the 60 to 100 hours required to get that lore is worth the slog when you can simply look up how it's connected and see what's coming next. All of the lore that we get from 1, 2, and 3 are more than sufficient, especially with the DLC, to give you what you need to move into the upcoming Xenoblade Genesis, which we are all here in this court very, very excited for.
Let the record show.
Let the record show.
And so my argument remains that with the amount of time it takes to get through these games, it's a hard sell. It's a hard argument for some people who have never touched the Xenoblade games to say that they need to spend hundreds of hours getting through these RPGs. But I think we would all agree here in this court that they ought to. And if Xenoblade Chronicles X is a deterrent to the core trilogy that can give people some of the best experiences of their lives from a JRPG perspective, I say you can go ahead and look those up and you can have, let's call it 15 minutes to an hour's worth of time to get the connections you need versus the 60 to 100 where you have to go through the slog. You're constantly met with frustration and the game doesn't give you everything that you want like you get in the core series because it is different enough. Is it the worst game ever made? Of course not. I enjoyed playing this game. But if we're talking about recommending this particular game to someone who has not played the series, I would say they don't need to play it.
I love the extensive use of X. All right.
Yep.
I have a lot of information to think about here. So I am going to give you guys an opportunity to give your closing statements on Xenoblade Chronicles X Definitive Edition. Mags, closing statement.
While Xenoblade Chronicles X may not be in the numbered series, it stands on its own with unique gameplay experiences, a sci-fi perspective that we don't really see that offers something different to players who may resonate with it more. And also, in addition to standing on its own as an experience, it also melds within the Xenoblade Chronicles trilogy for those who love that too. It really can be the best of both worlds for players.
Amazing closing statement. Brandon, you're up.
Your Honor.
Mm-hmm.
Constant jokes about eating Nopon are not enough to get somebody through Xenoblade Chronicles X. I stand on what I have stated in these arguments that Xenoblade Chronicles X is not a necessary experience to enjoy the fullness of what Xenoblade has to offer. And there are far too many frustrations and too many blockers to enjoying this game. Even some of the greatest enthusiasts of the Xenoblade series, people like yourself, Your Honor, have struggled in moments of this game to get past some of those frustrations. And while they may have given it a good run and gotten through it anyway to get to the very end because they are honorable folk, those frustrations remain. And for those who don't have that level of enthusiasm, I cannot, in good conscience, recommend this game to anybody interested in the Xenoblade Chronicles series.
Wow. So, here are my thoughts. Brandon, while your extensive use of the X in the exclusive Xenoblade X for the Nintendo Switch 2 edition, whatever, this came on both.
Definitive edition.
I must say that your argument being that you shouldn't spend 60 or 70 hours in the game and should rather watch a 15-minute video took me by surprise. I don't like that. You made fair arguments Is it as good as Xenoblade 1, 2, and 3? Well, we may never know. Mags, you made wonderful arguments about scales. Scales sound incredible. Customization, you get to use your own character that you create. You get to find out little pieces of lore that are relevant to the next Xenoblade Genesis game. All of these things are important to Xenoblade fans. So, Brandon, while your arguments were valid, I do think that 60, 70, 100 hours is a lot of time for anyone to spend. I just don't think the right decision would be to have Xenoblade Chronicles X Definitive Edition spend life in prison. Therefore, I'm rewarding Mags with the victory here. Xenoblade Chronicles X sounds like a wonderful game.
Your Honor, the real win was having Mags defend Xenoblade Chronicles X. Thank you.
Either way, I was going to lose.
Let the record show. I could tell you were struggling at the beginning. You were just saying what the game is. You were like, Xenoblade Chronicles is this game. But you got there. You got to defending it. You were like, this is an amazing game with skills and all kind of, it's absolutely essential, you said.
Yeah.
It's essential.
Let the record show.
Let the record show. Mag says Xenoblade Chronicles X Definitive Edition is essential to playing for any fan of the Xenoblade Chronicles series. So this is a win, baby.
Oh, let's go.
Oh my gosh. The problem is that all of that stuff about it being essential is true because I had to write a Xenoblade Genesis preview in Nintendo Force and I was pulling all this stuff from X and I'm like, oh no.
Yeah.
It actually makes sense.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
Oh boy. I don't know if I've ever felt this weird about winning before, but here we are.
Most of my arguments were based off of things that Max has said in the past.
I know.
So that's what made that the best for me ever.
I was it's like I'm hearing myself.
I loved the extensive use of good. X. That was
I did like good. That was a nice touch.
And I will never, ever forget to bring out the old schoolhouse in any of these. Let the record show.
What about the old schoolhouse? You guys all knew it was coming.
I know.
All right. So that's it. That's it for today's episode. Where can they find you guys? Brandon, where do they find you at?
Well, you can find me at Retro Brandon on YouTube or at Nova Brand on Twitter. I am currently working on a video. We'll see if it ever gets done, but I am working on one. And there will be more to come on there. If you're hyped about the Fire Emblem news and you have not watched my last Fire Emblem video, my last one was a ranking of the entire series that came out in the States. I had a lot of fun with that. Go ahead and take a look there. Otherwise, you can find me right here on this podcast.
Let's go, Mags. Where do they find you at?
Yeah, you can find me at Avenger Mags on Twitter and Blue Sky. Also writing for Nintendo Force Magazine. I have written so much for our September and October issue. It's going to be a really good one. Fire Emblem's on the cover.
Let's go.
And it's about games that make you make choices. So it's called Choose Wisely is this issue's title. So I'm super excited about it. It has a lot of great coverage. I got to write about Xenoblade Genesis and some other things. So definitely check it out. And in addition to that, you can find me right here on this podcast.
Let's go.
All right. And winning in the courtroom twice now.
Somehow.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm Slam Zany on all the things, YouTube and Twitter primarily. I just did a video on Xenoblade Chronicles 2 that posted today on the day of recording. I also ranked the HD 2D games. Both of those videos seem relevant to some of the topics we talked about here today, so go check those out if you're interested. But you can also find me on this podcast.
There it is.
As a judge in the Xenoblade courtroom.
Judge Zany.
And a host for this episode.
Yeah. And a host for this week. And this week only. Never again.
We'll see
because,
about that.
I mean, I'm not really a tactics guy. But yeah. We'll see you on the next one.
All right.
Later.
Bye.